To get on to the Palestinian issue and the Middle East issue, news today that the Australian government, since that horrible Hamas atrocity killed more than 1,200 people in Israel on October the 7th, since then, more than 800 visas have been given into this country to Palestinian people who have some connection, at least, to this country, Liz. We need to know more about this, don't we? The circumstances of these visas and, of course, the reassurance that any security checks have been conducted.
And the fact that we only just found out today, Chris, why is that? We've had so many groups calling for support for Gaza, help Gazans, poor pro-Palestinians, etc. and so on. Wouldn't you have helped out a bit by dissuading their concerns by saying, well, actually, we're doling out visas by the day? But can someone explain to me why we've yet to see an official statement from any of the relevant government departments? This just seems to have been picked up, run with by the media, and now we're all very aware. And what a time to be allowing this when we are seeing an unprecedented wave of Jew-hating in Australia. There's no other way to put it. I'm sorry, but when you look at a recent poll put out by an Arab research company who had asked people in Palestine, do you support the September 7 attacks? The numbers were incredibly affirmative, and that is because people forget. We keep talking about Hamas, this terrorist organisation. People forget this is an elected government in Gaza. When we talk about Hamas, we are talking about
haven't had an election
many Palestinians
since 2007.
A great many Palestinians are behind them and support them. I'm not saying all, but the fact that we have now gone out and allowed 860 to come here, we don't know what manner of visas these are
you don't.
either.
And you don't know they're going to come over here and say gas the
I'm
Jews.
not saying that they are, Justin, but what I am saying is, given what we are seeing unfold in our streets at the moment, if there is a 1 in 100, a 1 in 1,000 chance that this would end in some sort of more terror on our streets for the Jewish community in Australia,
trying to protect genuine refugees here.
Worth it. It's not worth it. Oh, are you going to guarantee their safety?
Be very careful. Hang on, Liz. Hang on, Liz. You've had a fair go.
Security checks have taken place that fast.
You've had a fair go, Liz. Let's just unpack some of that. There's no doubt that some of what Liz said about the Palestinian population is true. But they elected Hamas, but they have Hamas controlling them now. It's pretty difficult if you're living in Gaza to say, hey, I'm against Hamas. So we've got to be, I think the amount of Palestinian
Chris,
support for Hamas is an open question.
We've all seen the footage of Palestinian civilians watching the footage of October 7 and cheering.
Liz, I mean, we have seen that. We have seen that. But my point is that if you don't do what Hamas says in Gaza, you end up dead. So it's pretty difficult to judge how the broader population feels. Now, there have been some Australian citizens.
It's also very difficult to judge that none of these 860 aren't of those proclivities.
You're guessing, Liz.
So's our government, Justin.
Hey, Liz, the reason we call it a wrangle is because other people get a word in, right? Now, the Australian government helped get some Australian citizens out of Gaza, but we do need to know, don't we, Justin, who these other 800 people are, whether they are family members directly associated with Australia, and most importantly, what security checks have been undertaken.
Oh, absolutely. I think we should be asking, and we should ask that question absolutely every time. You know, and let's face it, the government has fallen down on the job in this area. So I'm not going to let them off the hook by any stretch of the imagination. But we can't be leaving out people, particularly Palestinian people. We cannot be leaving them out and looking at some of those people, a lot of those people, and I hope more than what we actually think, as genuine refugees. I mean, these bastards from Hamas, they got in at 2007, and they got in by doing something a lot of other religious organisations had done in the past, is to do charitable work. and to look like good guys. And once they won, they just ruled out elections completely. I think we've got to really, and I know that we have done this, Chris. I know that you have done this as well. You've got to draw that line between the Palestinian people and Hamas. They're not totally separate entities, but we've got to remember who we're dealing here.